again, what is up, everybody? We are back today with the morning show. A little late, coming in at 11:45 a.m. here on the East Coast. Crazy morning so far. If you're not already, be prepared for recession possibly. A lot of market indicators, reports, earnings, GDP prints, job reports. We had jolts yesterday. Nothing's good. The data is flowing, and the data is not great. And if you're waking up on the West Coast this morning going, oh, we did not break through 95,500 on Bitcoin. Why is that impossible? Well, unfortunately, it's because the data is speaking. And for once, finally, we are seeing the market, Bitcoin actually, and the rest of the market, for that matter, start to look at the data and say, oh, that's not looking so great. We'll get into that in a second. GM, hope everybody's doing well. It is April 30th. And we're at an interesting spot in the market right now where we just had a very, very crazy I think that's appropriate way to put it, a very crazy spike lower just a few weeks ago. All the turmoil coming out of our fun with the Trump tariffs. If we spin out to the one day here and hide these crazy fucking lines, you can see we were chilling a few weeks ago up in the 100,000s with Bitcoin. Life was great. And then, right after Trump takes office, we get his first 100-day plan, deep into progress, and we end up having the tariff war essentially unlock, and that spooked the market. Instability is not great. Uh, the market wants to see, participants want to see, institutions want to see stability. They want to be certain. They want to be able to make these big decisions. If you've been listening to any of the earnings calls, one that was very interesting, and I think it's a bunch of bull crap, but it's funny to see how some of these entities are thinking. We have companies coming out and saying, "Well, we're missing earnings because of customer delayed decision making." Well, yeah, sure. That's a really fancy way of putting people aren't buying. And customers aren't buying software, they're not buying chips, they're not buying infra, mainly because they don't know what's going to happen with tariffs. They don't know what's going to happen going forward here. They don't know how the EU and China are going to play out. It's been interesting. EU has been cozying up to China quite a bit here. China has kind of flexed back to an extent. I know we had some reports on some buckling there. Where there will never be buckling, though, at least in the short term here, is the Fed. I don't think the Fed's going to come out and save Trump here. I don't think that will be the position that we'll see. And yeah, again, just terrible stuff across the board. To put that into perspective, the whole list is now weak jobs data, larger job opening data. So not only are people, unemployment's going up, but there's not enough open jobs for these people. So it's not great. Which we like to see, like people leaving jobs. That's possibly good data to have in a bull market, right? That people are seeing that they can go get better opportunities other places. But if people are quitting and then not getting jobs, that leads into, okay, well, their income's going down, so their spending's going to go down, et cetera, across the board. Spending goes down, companies' revenue goes down, then they have to start cutting. And then we kind of see what we saw yesterday with earnings. Snap coming out saying, well, they're huge miss. Why? Well, people are spending less on advertising because that's usually the first place cuts go to save margins. You just stop ad spend, and all of a sudden, your costs go down, and hopefully your revenue can get you across to and leapfrog to where revenue starts to pick up and you can go back to spending on ads. Inflation numbers are not where we want them to be. The volume and momentum of the market is not where we want to be. I'm sure a few of you have heard at this point the term stagflation getting thrown around. Stagflation, recession, bad data, GDP miss, bad print. It's not good. It is really, really not good. And that is why we see charts like the one that we have this morning with Bitcoin, with the NASDAQ, with everything. So It's not really extremely gloom and doom, right? Like we were down at 75,000 just 15 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe. Um that being said, huge V correction here. Was not expecting that. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that. Now we've flown all the way up here. I know we've had a ton of people complaining and screaming like, "Hey, why can we not break through 95 and a half?" Well, here's again the reasoning: market data, and you have to be paying attention to this. And I think you start have to becoming more well versed in the macro data. We'll take a look across the board though this morning. We'll pull up some NFT stuff. We'll pull up some cryptocurrency stuff. We'll make some notes of other things happening in the market. If you have questions, as always, drop them in chat. It's good to see you all. Um, Again, the morning shows need to get back to a better rhythm and to a better template, but it's just good to be back and doing this. I should be able to throw my head on down here or move this across. Um, Look, it is going to be all right. That is, I think, the end kind of phrase that I hope people understand is it's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it through this. Um, right now, if we pop over to NFT world, which is completely different world, I want to note a few things that I've seen here. Um, which is if we go to top collections, right now for the market, we have actually started to see a bit of volume pickup within select collections. I know Pengu ran really hard. I know Pudgy Penguin started picking up some volume. Lil Pudgy started picking up some volume. I'll make a note here. Volume like that, price spike like that, does not happen without some background dealings happening. This is very reminiscent of big Bored Ape Yacht Club announcements. I'd assume something around ETF or their animated series has been locked in. Um, so I'm paying attention there. I don't think anything news wise is broken through. I am waiting for the news event, and I will act accordingly to how we play any news event here within the ecosystem. Um, Real quick though, Pudgy Penguins just shy of 11.5 ETH, sitting at 11.48 ETH. CryptoPunks sitting at their expected. Well, um, this is not going to be reminiscent of their actual floor, but they're sitting around 43, 44 floor. Azuki 2.6. Lil Pudgy's bumped all the way up to 1.5. That good run from their lows at like zero point 0.7. Crazy. Doodles has been pretty flat here, seeing around 3 ETH, 2.9 right now. Good Vibes Club. We love them. Love them. Good Vibes sitting at 0.43. They've shown strength. A lot of mids and high floors going. Which you like to see. That's healthy. You don't want to just see the floor trading back and forth. You want to see the mid tiers, the high tiers, the one of ones trading, loan market trading there even. I've noted this. I we'll go into the whole thing here, but if you aren't already, Gandhi.xyz has really shown and been an indicator for where there is strength in the market. If you can get a loan against an NFT, it shows true value. It shows risk appetite, not only against the floor but for different levels. Right now, if we take a quick look, you can see that we have a CryptoPunk paying 25% to get 40 ETH out, and that's quite actually that's a crazy loan right here. Um, but accrued interest paying out right now about a little bit under $20,000 here from that interest of loaning out. And again, we are in ETH, but it's a market that you're gonna have to become, I think, uh, able to understand. It's going to probably be one of the bull leaders as NFTs come back. I know it's being talked about more and more. The fact that Gandhi now has it so that you can buy as you see a loan pop up, you can have an NFT, get a loan against it, and then put it for sale, so you get some quick cash. And then if you hit a price, or somebody sees that it has hit a price that they are willing to buy, they can buy you out. It's incredible. So Make sure you're checking this out. But the reason I bring that up is, again, CryptoPunks, uh, and also Good Vibes Club. I think Good Vibes Club has had a loan origination or two pop up here. Notably, it's nice to see newer collections still being able to get loans. Pudgy Penguins have been around forever, but still, the floor is what, 11 and a half ETH. So you're sitting just shy again, 20K right now, so you can pull out 50% value against that, get that capital, put it to work. And if you can 2x this very quickly, it's free capital essentially, except for your essentially your principal payment. Um, yeah, it's not small. I won't bore you there. Go check it out. I have to mention it because we've seen some big sales, we've seen some big loans, and I do think it's an indicator. Grifters, notably, up to 19 ETH. VeeFriends have been very, very, very active with socials and rolling out new stuff. Paying attention there. Uh, I think at the end of the day, if you're looking through the NFT market, there's been strength and there's been weakness. I still think that while we're in this kind of lull, things haven't really spiked back to the craziness that we had end of 2024. Look where there's been strength. Look where who's been able to hang around. I would be buying that and looking to figure out ways even to understand why people are buying that. Is there ancillary plays there? Pudgy Penguins is really easy. They have a liquid token, a little bit simpler. Um, if we are looking at the market overall, I like pulling up CoinGecko. I think there's a nice way to just kind of get a category view. And actually, we can do this for. I pull this up for CoinMarketCap. Actually, better category view. Across the board this morning, down, red. Nothing's great. Um, except for music tokens, up 0.21%. Yeah, listen, I think the entire market right now really feeling the pain of the bad data, and we've come to be more and more matched to what is happening in the larger macro market. Hence why I'm saying go and check out what is happening in the macro, become more literate, try to understand that a little bit better. Um, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. You have to become more literate. Um, I thought I'd pull up the CryptoPunks real quick. Floor at 0.44 or 44.4. ETH strength here. As always, if you go and check out the floor here, I think it indicates a still healthy market. There's still people are out there looking to uh, buy high quality NFTs. If you look at sales, though, speaks a very interesting story of people buying above floor, still having demand there. We're seeing 50 to 60 sales over the last 5 days. And yeah, strength in the NFT market is good. It just shows that there are alternative assets that are still demanding capital flow, and that is healthy, as well as this floor not going down. We've seen it actually rise. Um, Goes back to, can you get a loan against it? Is there intrinsic value? Is there value? Can you actually know there's going to be value? Um, I thought this morning as well, it's probably nice, as much as we're talking about stuff. Um, and hopefully this has been helpful for touching on like why some things have happened and understanding that NFT market looks pretty healthy for the most part. Alternative alt market feeling some pain here. I know that for a fact Bitcoin is in a tricky spot where if we have any sort of bad geopolitical stuff come out here, what you could see, I think a lot of the strength for Bitcoin has been the China transition of capital, where you have very rare, very rich capital trying to find stability and was flowing into Bitcoin. You also had a lot of other people seeking alternative capital flow, a lot of institutional inflow, especially after the strength that it was shown from Bitcoin dipping down to 75, kind of defined some of the market. I think a lot of people took note of that when it started to move. They're like, all right, actually, there's demand here. this has performed very well. We're going to flow more in. Where I think you have to pay attention to is I like to make trades and moves when there is uh, a like moment about to happen, or an event or an announcement or some sort of market uh, mover. So jobs report, big earnings from some of the tech companies that might influence the market. Though that is when I'm looking for volume. We'll see these moves as we did see this morning. Um, right now, we are kind of in a holding position until we get some of the earnings and some of the movements that we see coming next week. So I'm kind of sitting on my hands and waiting. It does worry me though that we've had a lot of Ukraine rumblings. I'm again waiting, playing this patiently, but the data doesn't look good. Um, I do know that I promised people I'd pull this up and I'll grab this off the ground. I did receive a package from Cruise Quest. The great guys over at Cruise Quest. Love Matt, love what he's doing. Um Cruise Quest, if you haven't checked it out, is an NFT project over on Solana. They are we should pull this up actually. I gotta pull up. I think they're on snubber.xyz is the best way to pull them up. Du- 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 du. Let's see here. Cruise Quest. So they minted at 1. Floor's down a bit. I know Beanie's been very vocal though. Floor is still 5x almost mint price. Sitting at 4.65 ETH. If you haven't checked them out, definitely give them a look. Let's see. Can I go to their website and we'll share this tab? They have tokens attached to them. They have been doing quests. They have been doing earnings. If you have them staked, you are earning as well. We do know they're coming out with a game. They have been very big on the social side, but I do enjoy the fact that they have been kind of zagging when others are zigging, or zig when others zag, which is they aren't just NFT, they are an NFT container. So you have the image, an NFT that can hold tokens within it, which leads us to the terminology token bound assets. So you all these tokens that you can receive actually live within this NFT that you own. Uh, Great innovation. Solana has been interesting because we haven't really seen massive adoption to the NFT market there, while meme coins and alternative tokens have really thrived on top of the ecosystem, which is a whole conversation of its own. But I thought we'd open up this package here, and I'm not sharing the tab here again. Man, I gotta switch to OBS for the morning stream. It's not working with Restream. Anyway, if you haven't, make sure you're checking out Curse Quest. But I want to open this package here because I love it when I get packages, and I'll always open them on stream. Bro, if you can't tell, this is very heavy. Shit, yeah, it's very heavy. And they've sent me a plushie. They sent me a whole bunch of stuff, so I enjoy it. Let me not dox my address. And as you can see, it says, well, again, try not to dox my address. Fragile liquid. I saw that and I was like, oh god, what have they sent me? Critters Quest is now. I'm not sure the whole story on this, but they sent me energy drink. Multiply your energy. Critters Quest here rolling out the product lineup that they have between the plushies, some of the small figurines. I know they have probably merch on the way, but energy drinks is now happening, and I think you got to take note of what Critters Quest or what OSF has done with. And I'll pull a couple of these out and put this down. Incredibly heavy. I gotta give a huge shout out to Redbeard for sending over this package. Very smart guy. If you're not familiar with him, manufacturing god. What we've seen happen across the board with a lot of projects is, can you? Oh, here, stack these up so that we have them. Something that we've seen across the board with a lot of projects is, can you take a great piece of IP? Can you take a community that is very strong? And we've seen this Careers Quest. And can you incentivize them to go buy a product? And at the same time that you're selling to the Web3 community that you've built, can you then start to venture into Web2? Or not even Web2, just venture into the traditional market. Rekt Drinks from OSF has set the playbook for the beverage market. And I think you could say that, like, Bored Ape Yacht Club, early days, merch market, they dominated. They set the play there. They were the first ones. From there, we saw Gary Vee with books, how he incentivized people to go and buy that book through rewarding. Um, and I think we'll start to see more and more things. Pudgy Penguin's also a notable one. I'm probably missing a ton of different collections that have done this well, but I like to take note that in the gamification world, um, if you're able to gamify the purchasing and use of products very well, there is a lot of bullishness there. The fact that I've got a big ass plushie sitting on a desk over here, uh, which you can be rewarded for. The fact that I have a drink here, and I probably should try this. I should try this. The fact that they're thinking in this way of, how can we put IP? How can we then link this to the blockchain possibly, gets me excited. So I love to see that. It's not gonna be cold, so who knows if this is gonna be valid. Um, oh, it smells like Red Bull. Is this Red Bull? I gotta ask Redbeard if this is just Red Bull. No, it's not Red Bull. I don't think so. It's actually really good. Damn. Was not expect. I just had a coffee, so the taste is very good, actually. If you like energy drinks, um, this is going to be shipped off to Loot Labs, to the dev desk right now. So, Careers Quest energy drink, multiplying your energy, will be fueling the development of Loot. Love that. Um, Look, kind of an impromptu morning show. It's good to see everybody join in. Um, we are I just want to hammer home again. The data in the markets is not great. I'm just looking through some early notes here. We have so much data saying that stagflation is real, early recession indicators, early, the turmoil from the Trump administration, tariffs and some of their other decisions aren't great. At the same time, the environment for cryptocurrency has never been better. So we are certainly in a very weird moment of, okay, all this terrible stuff is happening, but in Q1, we had institutions buy almost 100,000 Bitcoin, and that is a huge, huge indicator of, like, there's demand at an institutional level. We also have seen more states in the United States declare crypto or Bitcoin reserves. I think Arizona was the first one. We've seen at the federal level, a strategic Bitcoin reserve, a strategic crypto reserve. We have the president family involved in many different crypto things, from Liberty, Liberty not Liberty Mutual, their Liberty Wealth Fund, and also to some other stuff that I don't know how out there it is and how public that information is. But Eric Trump joining boards, launching companies, and it's the environment's good, and we have the right people, I think, in the White House doing the right things. Hopefully, um, the whole point of this rant is, while we're conflicted and things look good, we need stability at the macro. We need stability within the admin and within the White House. And we need the macro data to say, hey, we're good. Even if we're just flat, we're good. There's growth coming. We're working through this. Here's what's here. We can basically project out 18, 24 months now, because we don't have all this craziness. I think if you haven't, a really good read is Ray Dalio put out a great Twitter article. And I gotta loop in a better way of doing the shows on the new setup. But Ray Dalio put out a great article about how AI um, was expected to be this big shifter. Um, but what we've seen is people basically front running world order changes with tariffs and a lot of the relationships. A lot of geopolitical norms have shifted. And so you have to take note of that and you have to start thinking, um, okay, how does that actually start to play out if the dollar is weakening? If less people are relying on us, where does that flow? I think it's good for Bitcoin at the end of the day. Um, but it is very clear that a lot of things that we weren't expecting to happen for a while have all been set into a higher and faster acceleration point because tariffs and because a lot of these things weren't wrapped up almost immediately. They've let it drag out. And that has also let like we've seen Europe, the EU has started to cozy up to China quite a bit more than I think anybody had expected that to happen. Um, and that's again that's never been a norm. Um, yeah, I do encourage again people to go and do and look into that. And also, if you see articles against the macro, read them, try to understand them. Um, I think for me right now, the biggest thing I have on my radar is just watching Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I know Solana currently is sitting at 141. We saw this all the way in the 150 range uh, just a few days ago. Um, I want I want to understand what the hell is going on at the Ethereum Foundation. I know Ethereum was technically leading the charge here with their flows or with their increases to um, to what 2% over Bitcoin. Not much, but um, we did see some life come into to Ethereum. We haven't seen it really establish back up into its highs, even remotely. Where you've seen Bitcoin at its highs in January, where it was up in 105, it's gotten back to 90. So like at this level, we have just not seen any recovery in Ethereum. And I think there's a million ways that you could point the finger, but it's just clear that Ethereum has not been a good investment in any way. And if you take a look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, we're sitting under zero point zero 0.02, which is insane to me. Um, it has been down only since the end of 22. 23, ugly, and then we just accelerated into 24, 25. At some point though, this has to bottom. And I think there is a lot to be said that Ethereum is where a lot of the financial stuff has been uh has just solidified itself. Um and at some point I'm hoping that the Ethereum Foundation figures out incentives for people to come back um and start buying this and holding this and feeling performant. Um Look, I won't bore people too long uh with the rest of this. The other big news that we've had in the market was that we had the $300 million Bitcoin hack. Somebody bought Bitcoin back in 2017, $3 million worth. We saw that basically get hacked in either social engineering or within uh, a hardware hack. Unfortunate to see that, but please make sure you're taking care of your security. And the other one that we had happen, if you haven't looked into it or seen it on your timeline, you definitely will. Movement Labs in the news for essentially giving away 50% of their supply to a market maker, and that market maker dumping on everybody. And then a whole bunch of drama around the co-founder being involved in another L1. Uh, it's there is no shortage of drama in this space, and it's why I continue to say, do your research, make sure you completely understand what you're investing in. Find new morning shows, not this one, that you can watch, and maybe this one, who knows, and get that information. Find get in the right groups, talk to the right people. Um, I think that'll be helpful. I will say this in a self show real quick. Within the product suite that and the things I've been working on behind the scenes, we will be launching uh a feature that'll allow you to stay up to date with the market news, market events, and get that explained to you in the best way possible. Um, and to an extent, I've been using it behind the scenes, where if I wanted to, technically, I don't know why I didn't do this either. Uh, just timeline stuff here. Um, you can basically understand, hey, why is Bitcoin down? You can understand what the next uh, big moment for Bitcoin could be, or what the next event that could influence the price movement on Bitcoin will be, and get an understanding of the financial landscape a little bit better, not only within crypto but at the macro level as well. Um, do keep an eye on what is coming out of loot.gg. And if you haven't already, make sure you've gone to loot.gg and signed up for the waitlist. I think, I'm hoping we'll get the first users in as soon as tonight. And then we will start to roll out with some of the new features there. Um, I just think that we can do better as far as trading goes and getting alpha and finding out news and reacting on that. It's a product of 555. If you're holding a 555 token NFT, you're gonna be very happy with what I've been working on, and what we're going to give you. Yeah, some very smart buys coming in there. Um, I'm gonna leave you there. We're gonna start doing, I think, a whole morning stream. There's a few last things I'm waiting on for that. Where I'll start in the morning. We'll go to noon every day. I'll take an hour break and then we'll be back on for interviews. Some big interviews coming up. Thank you to OSF. Thank you to Tari. Thank you to Somnia for coming on and talking last week. We do have a couple big names coming on. I know Wizard of Soho, Keyboard Monkey, a few other big names, some big bald CEOs, possibly coming on the show. I won't name names. A couple conversations there. I know probably get Jesse on here as well, unrelated to bald people, but I am excited for the content to be picking up a little bit more. It's good to see everybody this morning. As always, say hi, shoot me a DM. Feel free to ask questions. We'll be back in a couple hours with another stream. Good to see you. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.